The West does not need to steal Africa's minerals anymore. It steals her doctors, her engineers, her future. And we call this progress? They tell us Africa is poor because we lack skilled doctors, engineers, teachers, innovators. But what they will not tell you is this: Africa produces these brilliant minds, then the West steals them. Not through chains or whips, but through visas, scholarships, and contracts. This is the invisible tax of brain drain, a silent war bleeding Africa's future to feed Europe and America's present. Africa's greatest export is no longer gold, cocoa, or oil. It is her children. Her brightest minds leave under the illusion of opportunity, while the continent is left to bleed brilliance in silence. This is not migration. This is theft. What good is independence if our best and brightest serve foreign empires? Tell me, should this not be called a new form of slavery? How does this theft work? It begins with selective scholarships and recruitment programs targeting Africa's most talented. A young student in Accra wins a scholarship to London. A doctor in Lagos is offered 10 times their salary in Canada. An engineer in Nairobi is courted by Silicon Valley. Each departure looks like opportunity, but together, they form a river of genius flowing out of Africa. And here is the diabolical twist: Africa pays twice. First, through taxpayer-funded education that trains these minds. Then again, when those minds migrate, creating shortages in our hospitals, universities, laboratories, and industries. The World Health Organization estimates Africa loses over $4 billion annually in training costs due to medical brain drain alone. Who gains? The West, who receives trained professionals without paying for their education. Go to any rural hospital in Malawi, Sierra Leone, or Uganda, and you will see the cost. Patients wait hours, sometimes days, for doctors who never arrive.
Why?
Because half of their medical graduates now work in London, Boston, or Berlin. In Ghana, nearly 60% of doctors trained in the 1980s emigrated. Nigeria has lost tens of thousands of health professionals to Europe in the last decade alone. This is not random migration. This is structural siphoning. Do you believe brain drain is individual freedom or systemic theft of Africa's future? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me, if Europe and America truly cared about helping Africa, why do they recruit our nurses and doctors instead of funding our hospitals? Answer that in the comments. This is not new. In colonial times, Africa was forced to export raw materials, gold, cocoa, cotton, oil, while importing finished goods. Today, the raw material is our people, our intellect, our creativity, our very capacity to build nations. The finished goods are the innovations, technologies, and health systems that Europe and America boast of, built on the backs of African talent. Brain drain is nothing less than colonial extraction in a new disguise. The slave ships have turned into scholarship programs. The plantations have turned into research labs, hospitals, and corporations. And still, Africa remains robbed of her future. Why it persists? Some will argue, but these Africans chose to leave. Isn't it their right? Yes, but let us ask. What system created conditions where a doctor cannot feed their family on an African salary but thrives abroad? What system underfunds African universities while pouring billions into Western ones? What system tells Africa's youth that success is only valid when it is recognized in Paris, New York, or Toronto? This is not choice. It is engineered dependency. Have you or someone you know left Africa to work abroad? Tell us your story. Is it opportunity or exile in disguise? Do you think the West would allow half its doctors or scientists to emigrate to Africa? Tell me in the comments if you think that's imaginable. Every year, Africa loses tens of billions, not just in financial terms, but in lost innovation, in delayed progress, in stalled development. Imagine if Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, or Thomas Sankara had been siphoned away to serve the West instead of fighting for Africa. Who are we losing today quietly without resistance? Breaking the cycle. But here is the truth. The brain drain is not destiny. Africa can resist. By investing in our own institutions, paying fair wages, valuing our professionals, and building systems of dignity, we can reverse the flow. Some nations, like Rwanda, are already creating policies to attract diaspora talent back. Others must follow. The day Africa refuses to subsidize Western progress with African genius is the day true independence begins. If Africa's brightest must flee to survive, what does that say of our independence? Is freedom real, or are we still captives of a global design? So I ask you, should Africa continue feeding the West with its brightest minds, or is it time to close the tap? Comment below. The conversation begins with us, but the change begins when we refuse to accept this silent theft. This is Power Africa. We expose the hidden wars, the invisible chains, the subtle traps. Africa will not be free until her people are free, at home with dignity. Learn more at powerafrica.com, the place where Africa's story is told by Africa, for Africa. powerafrica.com